Hello and welcome to Expat Chat. I'm Joel with Fluency Corp. If you're joining us live, please let us know in the chat where you're joining us from today. We'd love to hear from you. If you're not familiar with us, we have around 200 coaches around the world that help busy professionals improve their conversational fluency from conversational fluency to business proficiency in a second language. So to help them communicate clearly and confidently with their colleagues and clients. We're happy to share expat experiences with you. And if you're joining us live, let us know again where you're tuning in from. And please ask any questions as they come up, and we'll try to get to any of those. Today, I'm joined with Wiebke Maginess, PR consultant, journalist, and author. She has moved from Germany to the US. So give her some love in the chat. Welcome her, and be sure and let us know what you would like to know from Wiebke. Welcome, Wiebke.
Hello, John. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, and thank you, Jason, for checking in. Love to learn from you as well. So tell us, Wiebke, how long have you been in the U.S.?
I moved here January last year. So we moved here together, my husband, my daughter, and I. And my husband got a job here, so I went here to support his career, basically.
Oh, great. So, and tell us where you're from in Germany.
I'm from Hamburg. It's a very beautiful city. Everybody should know it.
Great. And what do you like? So how do you like the weather or things like that comparatively in where you're at now?
Yeah, that's a good question, because the weather here is much, much better. It's warm and nice and mild, and the sun is shining nearly all the time. You have heavy rainfalls here as well, but you never have a gray sky for a long time. In Germany, some winter days can be really dark and gray.
Yeah.
But the summers can be lovely as well.
What part of the country are you in?
I'm in North Carolina, in Charlotte, but at the border to South Carolina.
Great. What do you miss most about Hamburg?
I think, what everybody would miss, friends and family, I guess. That's what you miss most. But I'm also having great friends here, so it's really a nice network that I'm building up now. So, but sure, home is home.
Great. And how do you like the weather in Charlotte?
Yeah, it's always bright. I mean, even if it's a gray day, you still have, like, even behind the clouds, you still have the bright light. So you never feel it is really dark or so. And this is what I like. In the summer, it can be quite humid and a little bit too hot sometimes.
Yeah. That's across the South, particularly the southeast of the U.S. That's part of life.
But I mean, Charlotte is also situated in a way that you can easily make nice short trips to the mountains. In the summer, it's a little bit cooler up there.
Yeah.
Or to the sea, where you have a sea breeze. So both is really, it's really a proximity here to the sea and to the mountains.
Right. Well, I know you've come in support of your husband's career. So what does that mean for you? As in global mobility, we would call that being a trailing spouse.
How do you call it again?
A trailing spouse. It's how the industry describes someone who is an expat in support of their spouse's career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing this for the first time in my life. I've always been working. And now for the first time, I gave up my job in Hamburg and came here. So I kind of have to, invent myself new or so. I have to find a new role for myself. And that's exciting, but also sometimes a little bit frightening, both.
Yeah, I can imagine. So are you able to work here? Is that a possibility, or do you have to how do you navigate that?
I have a work permit, so I can work here. But I'm still working for some clients in Germany. But I would really love to work here in the US and be situated here completely, not completely forever, but I mean for the time I'm here. And I'm still looking for something I could do here because I'm working in communications, and as I'm not a native speaker, it makes it a little bit more difficult and challenging to find a role which you can, where you meet all the requirements, because if you are in communications, language is very important.
Yeah. Jason Hall is joining us, and he is in immigration law, so he might have some pointers for us later in the show, in the conversation. I know there's been a lot of good things. What has challenged you with this? I know we're talking about navigating the legalities when you're working in a second language. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Working in a second language, well, what I've done here in the US so far is subbing at a school. But I made it easy for myself because I'm subbing for German students. So students who learn German in school. So I'm doing that from time to time, but I haven't really been working in English yet.
Okay.
But that's something I would love to do.
Yeah. I wish when I was a German student in school that I would have had a substitute who spoke native. That would have been very helpful.
Yeah.
What other things, as far as, for those who have not moved internationally, it can be, it's, you don't know what you don't know until you move. So let's talk about some of those things that no one prepared you for when you moved internationally.
There are some challenges that you meet when you relocate into another country. And for the US, there are some specialities which I didn't know before, like how important the social security number is, that you have to get it first before you can open a bank account or before you can buy a house or a car. And also what I find interesting is the importance of credit history. So I had the feeling at the start, nobody is really interested in money that you might have somewhere on a bank account. They all want to know about your credit history. And we didn't have that at all when we came here. So that was a bit difficult, and was good that the company helped us in this respect, helped us to find a house and get a car and all this kind of stuff. But I could imagine that somebody who's not having this help is quite lost at the start.
So how did the company use a relocation management company to help you?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
And that was really helpful at the start, I must say. The woman who helped us there was my best friend for the first weeks, or my only friend as well, because I didn't know anybody. And this is something else you experience, and maybe you're not really aware of that before. It's homesickness and feeling a little bit uprooted at the start, and also overwhelmed with all the new stuff that you have to learn. And language-wise, I can only say that, for instance, even though I took English in school and I have an Irish husband, so I'm used to speaking English, but at the start in the shop, when somebody would say something with a very short or in a southern accent or so, like, you want a bag or something like that, I didn't get it. I didn't know what they were saying. And I stood there like an idiot. I was really, what? What do they want? Or do you want to put your number in? I said, what number? Why a number? What? And so there are so many things that you don't understand, that this is quite challenging at the start.
Yeah, we see a lot of that here, and that's part of, we talk about from moving from conversational fluency to business proficiency. a lot of those things, colloquialisms, jargon, and local accents. If you speak to someone from New York or from the West, compared to someone in the Southeast, it's a very different accent, and each region, just like Germany has, you have different things that people say that you don't learn in class typically.
Yeah, that's true. And that's something I would really like to learn. I mean, I would really like to learn English as close as it gets to a native speaker, but I'm not sure if this is possible when you're not like only 15 or 10 years old. So I wonder, can you still learn this, or is it impossible? What would you say?
It is very possible. And yes, it is more challenging when you're older, just like learning anything at an older age is harder, but it's very doable. And if you have someone coaching you who's experienced working with adult learning, then that makes it easier. And that's why when we hire our coaches, we really focus on people who have been an expat and or learned a language as an adult, because when you're learning a language at 50, it's important that you have a coach that you really bond with and really gets where you're challenged and what will help you.
Okay.
And someone who's been in that position is going to be in the best place to give you that.
Yeah. Okay.
So while we're on the topic of challenge, what's that?
No, I just said it's good to know. So maybe I have a chance to do that, to learn.
Oh, absolutely. You can do it. I'm confident in that. So do you want to share with us, you mentioned you have a daughter. Were there any particular challenges for her that in making this move? How was it for her?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for her, it was also not easy. I think she was looking forward to living in the US before she came here. But then when she came here, it was a bit difficult at the start because she hadn't really expected the same that I went through, like being homesick, missing your friends at home, missing your relatives, your family. And also, sure, the English, I mean, her English is much better than mine. She's nearly bilingual, I would say. But at the start, to learn everything what you learn in school in a different language is also a challenge. So
how fluent was she when you first got here?
Oh, she's a junior now at high school.
Uh-huh.
So she was do you say freshman in the 10th grade? Yeah, no? That's right, or?
Yeah, we call that sophomore year.
Oh, sophomore, not freshman, sophomore. Yeah, so she was in the 10th grade when she came here, and now she's a junior, so in the 11th grade. And yeah, but she's very happy now, but it also took a while.
Yeah. So how would you compare being an expat as an adult versus the experience as a child? Can you compare the two? Do you have enough to draw from?
Oh yes. I came to my parents moved to Indonesia when I was a child. So we lived in Jakarta for 4.5 years. And I think it was a little bit a different experience, but sure, the basic feelings like feeling homesick at the start, not knowing the language, all this kind of stuff, sure, that was the same. And being the new person in the classroom, the new kid at school, that's always a little bit challenging at the start. And then it takes a while until you get used to everything. And sure, Indonesia was very exotic, but
yeah,
the US is too in a different way.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little more about that?
About what?
About how would you compare the US and Indonesia? Because from Germany, both are exotic in different ways. From someone who's not been to Indonesia, how would you explain that?
Well, Indonesia, first of all, it's long time ago, so I'm not sure if it's still like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time when we moved there, it was still a very multicultural and tolerant country. So I think this is a little bit different now. So there was like Muslims and Christians and everybody was, and Hindus and so on, everybody was living peacefully together at that time.
Uh-huh.
So that made it quite safe to live there. But sure, we had still a fence around our house, which we don't have here in the US. And and the weather, sure, it was tropical, and you had to be careful with malaria and stuff like that, which you don't have this problem here.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very nice, wonderful, exotic world and experience. But I was as a child, I was at a very small German school.
Okay.
A really small school. So we were the biggest class, and we were only 7 or 8 people. And then the class above us were only 2 people, and it was a boy and a girl, and they were lovers. So it was really fun experience, this very small school. And here, sure, my daughter is going to a US school, to a US high school.
Okay. And how is she liking that? How long did it take her to become comfortable in that setting?
Well, it took some months, I would say. It was a little bit up and down. There was highs and lows, but she's found her feet now, I would say. Yes, she likes it now. She loves it. Yeah.
Is there anything that you would do differently to help her with the experience that you have now? If you took a job in another new country, is there anything you would do differently for her or for yourself?
I can't say this because I think we have done everything we could do from the perspective at that time and what we knew at that time. So I think we could have not done anything else. I would do it again the same. But I mean, you have to be just aware that it's challenging. And we were maybe not aware enough. But we have overcome the problems, and this is also a good feeling of self-confidence. And yeah, it's a good feeling when you have managed to solve problems.
Yeah. So
but what I wanted to maybe mention is what is important, and what I think everybody who considers to move somewhere else should really think about is the transferability of education and qualification.
That's a great topic.
Because I mean, for starting with myself, I talked a lot already about the language thing. But for instance, my daughter, she would like to study in Germany probably. So she needs the acceptance of the German authorities, and that's not as easy as you might think. So you have to really make sure and really research a lot to know that you can study in Germany with your high school degree from America, for instance.
Okay.
That's very important, and can only say to everybody who wants to do that they have to really research very deeply to be sure that this is working out.
So is it clear? Is it something that's easy to learn if you just ask the right questions, or is it challenging to even find the right answer?
It's sometimes also challenging to find the right answer, because an example is my daughter came here in the middle of the 10th grade. So, but if you do the AP courses, you want to study in Germany with AP, this is possible. But first of all, you need 3 years in total, not 2.5 years. And you need a certain amount of APs, and you have to find out how many and in which subjects and so on. So we changed it to IB program, which is also possible. But even in the IB program, you have to make sure that you meet the requirements of the German government. And many schools, or not many schools, but some schools offer IB, but you have to really look deep inside the detail to see that everything is working out.
Okay. So can for anyone who doesn't know, can you tell us the difference between AP and IB?
Okay. I mean, the AP in America is the advanced placement. So this is like a higher level courses that you can take. To also to get better chances to go to college here in the US. And the IB program as well is like a higher level exam that you take at the end of the high school, like a high school diploma with a certain level. But it's like considered differently in different countries.
Okay. So I believe IB stands for International Baccalaureate.
Yes, sorry, I didn't say that. Yeah, it's International Baccalaureate. It's coming from the Swiss originally. They have invented it.
So it is that specifically for students who may want to go to university outside of their country?
Not necessarily. Also, many US students take IB diplomas because they think that they have a better chance to get to the university that they want to go, or to the college they want to go to. So it's how do you say, well acknowledged by many universities, many colleges, and you can basically study everywhere with the IB diploma. So they accept it everywhere, and nearly everywhere in the world, but you have to make sure that you really meet the requirements of that country you want to go to.
Okay. Do you think that that for Germany, do you think that not having the IB diploma would make it impossible to go to university there, very challenging, or where on that scale would you put?
Not really impossible, but very challenging. And especially you would have to probably take a certain, how do you call this, a pre-university course or something in Germany for a year. So
Okay.
it would basically cost you a year of time.
Okay. So would that be at the university you're studying at, or would you have to go back to a high school to get that? Or?
No, it's a different stuff. It's like a community college, maybe a little bit comparable to a community college. It's a kind of a college. It is pre-university colleges. You can then decide if you want to do sciences or arts, and then you get a diploma, and then you can study.
Okay.
And also what I found quite interesting and a little bit shocking, which I didn't really thought about before. My daughter is a native German speaker, but she will still need a German test.
Okay.
University.
So how, for a native German speaker, how challenging is that?
I mean, I don't know how challenging the test will be, but it's funny that you have to take one, and it costs some money, like $250. You have to take the test in German, even though you're a native speaker. It's a little bit weird, I think. But anyway,
is it similar to English tests here, where we all speak and we all converse in English, but proper English, proper grammar, things like that, not everyone would do well on a test like that?
Yeah, I think, and you have to make a presentation and stuff like that. So it's quite a big exam that you have to take there. So I know from a friend of mine, she's American, and she took the German C1, I think, test it is.
Uh-huh.
And her husband, who's German, just for fun, did the same test with her, and he failed. So you see, it's not that easy.
Yeah. It can be very challenging. Yes.
Yeah.
Are there other things that surprised you about relocating? Anything in particular that maybe not necessarily that you experienced, but other expats that you know who challenges that they didn't expect?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that it's really different here. Well, I mean, when you come from a big city or halfway big city like Hamburg to a same-sized city like Charlotte, you would think that the transportation is basically the same, but Charlotte is far more spread out than Hamburg.
Mm-hmm.
And in Hamburg, I could use, or we all could use, like bicycles and e-scooters and bus and subway and everything, and or walk even lots of distances. And here you really need a car for everybody in the family. So we changed from a one-car family in Hamburg, and the car was very often not used and just standing in front of the door, to a four-car family now.
Wow.
Because my
But
daughter...
you only have 3 people, right?
Excuse me?
You only have 3 people and you have 4 cars?
Yeah, no, I have a son we have a son, he's in Germany.
Oh, okay.
College in Germany, and he's got our old car. So my daughter, my husband, and I, we all have a car.
Okay.
And in Germany, where you're trying to be very environmentally friendly, you would never have 4 cars for 4 people in the city. But here it's necessary. Without that, you can't do anything. You're completely lost without your car. Yeah. I think I don't hear you anymore. Might be frozen or something. So I don't know what happened here. So I hope John will get back to me soon. I don't hear anything anymore, and I can't see him anymore. So I'm obviously alone here in the chat now. So I just read something from Richard. You're lucky, Wiebke, in London with various restrictions, can't drive anywhere, even with 10 cars. Okay. Yeah, but without a car, you can reach somewhere, I guess. Okay. And then Betsy Cohen writes, I do want to suggest my book, Welcome to the USA, You're Hired, a guide for foreign-born people seeking jobs on Amazon and other sites. Okay. So now, I don't know, I should sing a song, says somebody. I'm not alone. Okay, that's funny. So I don't know what to do now. Maybe I should switch off and try to get in the chat again. Okay, bye-bye.